The voice in the empty room. The house was empty when Daniel moved in. At least, that's what Silas, the landlord, had said while handing over the keys. Silas had a way of looking past Daniel's shoulder, as if checking the hallway for someone who wasn't there. The first night, Daniel slept with every light in the house blazing. It wasn't because he was scared of the dark. It was because the silence felt heavy and crowded, like a room packed with people who were all refusing to speak. At exactly 2:17 a.m., a sound drifted from the spare room at the end of the hall. It was a whisper, dry as dead leaves skittering across pavement. It wasn't loud enough to understand, but it was clear enough to know it was a human voice. Daniel pushed the door open to investigate. There was nothing inside. No furniture, no boxes, no open windows to let in the breeze. There was only the smell of cold, stagnant air and a layer of dust on the floor that looked freshly disturbed by invisible footsteps. The whisper returned the next night, and the night after that, it grew louder, peeling away from the corners of the ceiling. This time, it didn't just mutter nonsense. It spoke a single, chilling word. His name. Daniel? He told himself it was just stress. He told himself that old houses made strange noises as they settled into the earth. But deep down, he knew the truth. Old houses made creaks and groans, but old houses didn't breathe. He began locking the spare room, clicking the heavy bolt into place every evening. Yet, at exactly 2:17 a.m., he watched the doorknob. It turned slowly and patiently from the inside, rattling against the lock. On the fourth night, the voice didn't whisper his name. It spoke in a full, rattling sentence that vibrated through the floorboards. "Don't look at me," it warned. Despite the ice in his veins, Daniel turned the key and looked anyway. The room was darker than darkness should be, a blackness that seemed to have texture and weight. It wasn't empty anymore. Something was there, unmoving and ancient, waiting in the center of the floor where the light refused to go. The voice moved closer without the sound of a single footstep. "I was here first," it rasped, the sound appearing directly behind his ear. Daniel tried to scream, but the air in the room was too thick to move. It swallowed his voice before he could make a sound. By morning, the spare room was gone. There was no door, no frame, and no seam in the wood. Only a smooth, blank wall remained, as if the room had never existed at all. Daniel ran for the front door, but every exit simply led him back into the same windowless hallway. A week later, Silas stood at the front door with a new tenant named Elias. Silas gave the same tight smile and handed over the keys. "The house is empty," he promised. And at 2:17 a.m., the smooth wall in the hallway whispered a brand new name.